Right, so we are going to talk about square root functions today. Namely, we're going to talk about how to graph square root functions today. Okay, so the parent function for a square root graph is this. F of x equals root x. Now, let's take a look at this for a minute, right? The square root of x. We're going to graph the square root of x, right? By picking points, okay? So, take a look here for a minute. This is root x, right? Can x in here be 0? No. Yes, it can, because the square root of 0 is 0. Can x be a positive number? Yeah. Yes, it can.
It cannot be a negative number.
It cannot be a negative number.
Then you gotta add that special I.
Right, but now we're not going to do that yet. Okay, so x cannot be a negative number. That means, all of these positive numbers work for x. Even 0 works for x, but nothing to the left of that. So this graph is only going to exist starting from the y-axis over to the right. Okay? Right. So now, having that in mind, why don't we plug in some points? Let's plug in 0. I get the square root of 0, which is 0. Let's plug in 1. I get the square root of 1, which is 1. Now I want to plug in a different number, okay? If I plug in a 2, I'm going to get the square root of 2, which is not a whole number, and I don't want that. So let's plug in numbers that under the square root will be a perfect square. So 4 is a good one. So let's do 4, root 4. That'll give us a 2. So let's go ahead and graph these. 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2. And that's how that graph looks. All right, easy, right. So let's talk about domain for a minute. Domain is all of the x values for which there is a graph. And so we see it starts at x equals 0 and goes up. So the domain is x is greater than or equal to 0. Range is all the y values that have a graph. And you see here there is nothing on the bottom. Starts at y equals 0 and slowly but surely goes up. So range is also y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay? All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about transformations. You've done this when it came to, the square root and the absolute value. Quadratics and absolute values. So, when you have plus h inside, where does that move the graph? Left or right? To the left, right? Opposite to the sign. So this moves the graph left h units. When you have minus h, where does it move the graph? To the right h units. When you have a plus k outside, where does that move the graph? Left, right, up, or down? Up k. And minus k? Down k. Okay. If I have a negative outside, what is that? That is a reflection around the x-axis. Okay, so look. That means instead of the graph looking like this, it goes down and it looks like this. This is negative root x. Okay? Now, if I have a negative inside, this is a reflection around the y-axis. So how does that look then? This is how the regular y equals root x looks. And if there is a reflection around the y-axis, it actually goes the opposite way, like this, the square root of negative x. You see that? Okay? Now, if I have a number outside here, this is either a vertical stretch or a vertical compression. If that number is greater than 1, it's a vertical stretch. If it's between 0 and 1, it's a vertical dilation, compression. You guys remember this from before?
Yep.
All right, we're not going to deal with the other ones. I'm just going to, okay? Okay. So, okay. So to find the domain, always, what you're going to do is set the radicand greater than or equal to 0 and solve for x. To find the range, it's always going to have to do with the k. It's either going to be y is greater than or equal to k or less than or equal to k. We'll do a couple right now, okay? All right, let's take a look at this one. So for this, what transformation is there? Where is the graph moving if you have the square root of x plus 2? To the left 2. That means my initial endpoint is at negative 2 comma 0, right? Is it moving up or down at all? No. So it's at negative 2 comma 0, okay? Now, I'm going to plug in some points, okay? Negative 2, x equals negative 2 is where the end point is. I plug in points after that, okay? So and then I want to pick values that when they go in here for x, I'm going to get a nice little perfect square underneath. So if I pick negative 1 and I put it in here, what do I get inside the root? So when x is negative 1, what do I get? Negative 1 plus 2, root 1, yeah, which is 1. So that works. Is 0 a good number to pick? No, because then you get 2 underneath. Is 1 a good number to pick? No, because you get 3 underneath. Is 2 a good number to pick? 2 is a good number to pick because you get 2 plus 2 inside. Root 4, that's 2. So 2, 2. Okay? So what's the domain? X is greater than or equal to this number here, negative 2. Okay? What's the range? Y is greater than or equal to this number 0. Okay? Another way to look at it is this. This is the point, negative 2 comma 0, right? That's where the end point was. So the domain is going to be connected to that number. The range is going to be connected to that number. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Okay, where is this moving, the graph? Right 2, up 1. So my initial endpoint is going to be at positive 2, positive 1, right? Right here. Okay, so let's see what are some good points that I can pick. This is x minus 2 plus 1 on the outside. So what's a good number I can pick? Is 3 a good one? No, 4 is good. So look, I get 2, right? No, 4 is not a good one. Sorry. What's a good one? No, you're going to put it into x minus 2. So 3, if I put 3, 3 minus 3 actually works 2. No, you get 7.
No, you would have to do 11 because that is 11 minus 2 and that's 9.
Okay, we'll check it right now. So 3 minus 2 plus 1, this will be 2. Right? So when x is 3, y is 2. Okay, when you pick 9, Olivia, inside you get the square root of 9 minus 2, which is the square root of 7, which you can't write. So how about 6? Can we do 6? This will be root 4, which is 2 plus 1, which is 3. So that looks like that. Okay. What was that point? We said it was 2 comma 1, right? So the domain will be with the 2, okay? So domain x is greater than or equal to 2. And this number goes with the range. So what would the range be? What do you guys think? Greater than or equal to 1. Okay. All right. So let's do this next one. Okay, now I have a 3 out front, which is a vertical stretch, but I have x minus 5. So where is the graph moving? To the right 5. So my endpoint is 5 comma 0 here. Okay, so x, y. Let's pick 6. You can usually pick the next one, right? So if I pick 6, I get 3 times in the root 6 minus 5. 3 times 1, this is 3. Okay. And then why don't we put in a 9? This is 3 times root 4. 3 times 2, I get 6. Do you see how big that stretch is, that vertical stretch? Okay, so what's domain? X is 9 comma 6. Y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Okay, here. Where is the end point? -4 and where else? -6. Now, do you guys see how there is a reflection here? There is a negative in front, so this is a reflection, so it's going to look a little different. Okay, I think I'm going to put the table down here. What are some values I can pick here? Okay, so if that was -4, pick the very next one, -5. So this is negative root x plus 4 minus 6. Let's pick -5. -5 plus 4. So this is negative. Oh, no. Oh my God. I shouldn't have picked -5. What should I have picked? The next one over is what? -3. I'm sorry. So this will be negative root 1 minus 6. -1 minus 6. -7. Look, it goes down here. Okay? What's another number I can pick that when I put it in the root, I get a perfect square? What's another number I can pick? -2 works. Does -2 work? No. How about 0? Does 0 work? So that's -2 minus 6, -8. And that looks like that. Okay, now let's do domain. So this point was -4, right? So x is greater than or equal to -4. Okay, is y greater than or less than negative? Y is less than or equal to -6. All right? Okay, let's do one more and then we'll stop. And I think you guys have enough to do the homework. Do you guys need to do one more? Or are we okay? Huh? You guys are okay? Okay, why don't you guys, work on the homework. And then, if there are any issues on the homework, we can discuss them tomorrow. By the way, The homework has to be done on graph paper. Now, I did you guys a solid. On MyJag, under the topics page for this chapter, there is notes, and then right underneath, I put blank graph paper. It's like a page of like individual ones of these. You can just print them and graph on that if you want. Okay? All right. With that, have a fabulous Thursday, everybody. I'll see you all Monday. Okay. Have a good weekend then.